Before we get into it, quick note. I just launched a premium version of the podcast on Supercast. If you want ad-free episodes, bonus content, and AMAs where I answer your questions directly, it's all there. If you'd like to support the show and get access to all of that, I want you to go to jefferson.supercast.com, or you can check the link in the description below to join. All right, let's get into it. The top 3 mistakes that I see communicators make are: 1, they use absolutes, the always and the nevers. 2, they over-explain their words. And 3, they find a way to not take control of the first 7 seconds of the conversation. Without those 7 seconds, everything else does not fall into place. This is the Jefferson Vischer Podcast. You know what it is if you're listening. And this is good content for you. If you would, just please press the subscribe button. It means a lot to me, my family, and tells wherever you're listening that this is good content. I want to get right into it. So, number 1, if you don't want to make this mistake, it's very simple, but it's also very hard. Absolutes. You know what it's like when you're in conversation with people, or let's better yet, in an argument with somebody. Probably somebody you're very close with. I might be married to, might be in a relationship with, and they use this word right here, always. Usually there's something that comes right before it, and it's the word you. They say, you always, you never. They're generally not positive statements. If I had to guess, the only time you hear those is in some kind of negative conversation, meaning the other person's using these words with a downward, mad, angry, frustrated, disappointed expression on their face. You never listen to me. You always say this. You never care. And it should just send sirens off in your brain. That is one of the number 1 mistakes that I see communicators make if they're trying to actually have productive, efficient, successful communication, is they use the absolutes, the extremes, when in reality, we both know that's not true. And really, the other person knows it's not true. They know it too. It just feels better to say it, right? It feels better to use the absolutes. Let's play it out for a second. Let's say you and I are in a conversation and I'm in an argument with you and I say, it is just like, you always say this. Every time you come in, you always say, you never do anything that I ask. You never pick up around here. You never do this. You always want to be the first to do. Those words, those absolutes, they create a lot of friction in the conversation because the conversation is no longer about the issue. It is now about the accuracy. It's no longer about the thing you were first originally talking about, what's beneath it all. Instead, it's now about the accuracy of somebody's statement. That's what happens to your brain. When the other person's side, when you use the absolutes, what happens to the other person is they start to go, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. I don't always do that. I don't never do this. And they start to try and pick and poke and look at the accuracy. Okay, well, let's look at the timeline. When's the last time that I said that? Or when's the last time I did that? And it becomes a timeline game. It becomes who's more accurate, whose memory is better, who is the kind of the referee of the argument. And accuracy calls, when somebody blows the whistle on accuracy, say, that's not accurate. I don't always do that. I don't never do that. It's now a second argument. So if you have a straight line of A to B, and you and I are talking, and I just used the word never, you never. You know what happens? We split, right? It's the multiverse. We have 2 different timelines happening because now that second one only cares about accuracy, meaning you're having an argument about whether you always or never did the thing. And so when I say accuracy, it's about, are they saying something that is correct? And as soon as the other person goes, no, actually, I don't always do that, it stings because you're like, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about the issue itself. And that's where you get caught up. So Jefferson, what's the point here? The point here is that you don't use them. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but it happens all the time. It happens in my relationships. It happens in my family's relationships and my friends' relationships. It happens among all of us. What I'm saying is it will happen. The key here is quick to fix it. So what are some ways we can do that instead if you catch yourself using that? One is if you catch yourself saying always and never, be the bigger person and grab it back. If you say always, catch it and go, actually, not always, a lot of the time, some of the time, most of the time, right? Catch it. So, I mean, if you say it out loud of, listen, you never stop yourself when you hear it and go, actually, it's not never, it's a lot. It feels like a lot to me, right? If you can catch it and grab it, that's an easy win. You now don't have to have that second multiverse argument about accuracy. Number two, a quick way is to say, I feel. It's a framework that works in a lot of different circumstances. You've heard me on this podcast talk about it. And it's a framework that works a lot of the time. It's I feel. Saying, when you do this, I feel that. When you X, I feel Y. When you speak to me in that tone, I feel like you're disappointed in me and I'm doing something wrong. When you leave the food on the counter, I feel like you're asking me to take care of it, and you're being passive aggressive or whatever it is. I feel. It's a very easy way of putting that in there, because at the end of the day, these always and never statements, they're really just a self-expression of what's going on inside you, right? Of what's happening inside. Because in your body, it feels like it's always or it's never in these absolutes. And it's way clearer for your body to go, I feel it right now, so this is what it must be all of the time. And so when my body says never, it feels like never. So what's another way? A third way we can take care of this is think of it as a headline. Think of it as a headline, meaning I'm going to say up front, I'm going to tell you something. It's not always. I feel like it's a lot of the time. And then give the statement. You see, I kind of use the headline to give you a preview of what I'm about to say. And let me try it again. We could do it a different way. I want to tell you something that's important to me. And I'm not saying that it's never, but I am saying that I feel like sometimes it's hardly at all. Then give what you need to say. So it's like combining the I feel with a catchback, is saying, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm going to use the word never, but I know it's not. I know it's not never. I'm just telling you it feels like it is, right? Can you relate to me on that aspect of that? Are you safe enough for me to say, it feels like it's never, even though I know that it's not? My brain tells me, my body tells me, my emotions tell me that this is always happening, but my brain knows objectively it's not always happening. Before we keep going, this episode is sponsored by Cozy Earth, and also, in many ways, my mom. My mom, I gave her some Cozy Earth pajamas, all right? They are very soft. They're made of bamboo and very, very light. And my mom's never been like a big PJ person. I think she's just been a muumuu person. You know what I mean? Like it's just a big, huge t-shirt, for most of my life, until she found these